What's up, gamer? My name is Luco, and today I'm going to tell you how to unlock your Ascendancy class in Path of Exile 2. Each base class in the game has a couple of different Ascendancy classes that you can specialize into, but there are two different ways that you can go about unlocking and upgrading whichever Ascendancy class you want. The first option is called the Trial of the Sekhema. You unlock the trial by beating a boss named Balbala the Traitor in the Traitor's Passage zone in Act 2. When she dies, you get a little coin called a Jin Barya. You take the Jin Barya to Zarka in town, and she'll unlock the Trial of the Sekhema zone on your map. Go there, talk to Balbala, and she'll hand you something called a relic. After that, put the coin in the pedestal and a grid will open up. You can put the relic in this grid and it'll give you a permanent buff for the duration of the trial. When you're done fiddling with the relic grid, press the start button and go through the door. Your goal in this trial is to travel through each room completing various objectives until you reach the last one where you'll face a boss. Kill the boss and you get to go to a treasure room that lets you pick which Ascendancy class you want and gives you 2 points to use on its skill tree. It sounds simple enough, but there is a twist to all of this. And that is, you have to avoid taking damage as much as possible while you're going through the rooms, because you have this extra resource during the trial called Honor. It basically acts as a second health bar that is much more difficult to refill than your normal health bar, and it gets drained anytime you take any kind of damage. So while you're going through each of the rooms, make sure you avoid as many hits as possible from any kind of source. On top of that, some rooms will also give you debuffs called Afflictions. Some of them aren't so bad, but some of them, like this one that gives you 40% reduced movement speed, can actually be really debilitating for your run. So, to unlock your Ascendancy class in the Trial of the Sekhema, you have to go through each room taking as little damage as possible and avoiding as many afflictions as possible until you reach and beat the boss. The other way to unlock your Ascendancy class is called the Trial of Chaos. It becomes available when you beat Cyclusian the Chimera and bring the Kimmeral inscribed ultimatum that he drops to the Temple of Chaos in the Kimmeral wetlands. You put the ultimatum item into the little statue and go inside. The Trial of Chaos is much simpler than the Trial of the Sekhema because there's no weird extra resources you have to manage. All you have to do is go through 4 rounds of objectives and beat the boss in the 4th room. The most difficult part about this trial is that before each round you have to choose from one of 3 randomly selected modifiers to apply to all enemies in that round and every round afterwards, including the boss. If you manage to beat the boss in round 4, you get taken to a treasure room that lets you select your Ascendancy class and gives you 2 points to use on its skill tree. In total, you can get up to 8 points to spend on your Ascendancy class's skill tree. Each set of 2 points comes from completing a higher difficulty trial encounter. As you reach higher level zones, you'll start to see monsters drop Jin Barya and inscribed ultimatums that have higher numbers of trials. On a Jin Barya, each trial means an extra floor you have to complete before reaching the end, but it also means that you can get 1 more set of 2 Ascendancy points by completing that trial. So if you only have your first set of Ascendancy points and you find a Jin Barya that has 2 trials on it, you can go run it, and if you clear the boss on the 2nd floor, you can find another Altar of Ascendancy in the final treasure room to get 2 more points for your Ascendancy's skill tree. The maximum amount of trials on a Jin Barya is 4, so you have to be able to clear a total of 4 floors in the Trial of the Sekhema from beginning to end without running out of honor in order to get the last of your Ascendancy points. On inscribed ultimatums, each trial means another round of enemies that you have to get through before reaching the end. An inscribed ultimatum can only have either 4, 7, or 10 trials. The reason for the funny numbers is that the bosses always spawn in rounds 4, 7, and 10 of the ultimatums, and killing the bosses in each of these rounds for the first time will reward you with another set of Ascendancy points. The problem is, that's only enough bosses to get you 3 out of the 4 sets of Ascendancy points. In order to get the 4th set from the Trial of Chaos, you need to collect a set of fragments called the Fate Fragments. There are 3 fates in the set. They're called Deadly Fate, Cowardly Fate, and Victorious Fate, and you get them by beating each of the 3 bosses in the Trial of Chaos in the 10th round. Balak the Sky Seer, aka the Tornado Bird, drops Deadly Fate when you beat him in round 10. Booksmall the Beast Sword, aka the Chimera, drops the Cowardly Fate fragment when you beat him in round 10. Finally, Chetza the Feathered Plague, aka the Zombie Bird, drops Victorious Fate when you beat it in round 10. Once you have all 3 of those, you bring them with you into another Trial of Chaos, beat all 10 rounds, then put them in the sockets to go fight the last boss. Once you beat it, you'll get your final set of Ascendancy points. It's a huge pain to farm those fragments yourself because you have to run a bunch of 10-round ultimatums. So if you're trying to reach the final boss of the Trial of Chaos and you're not playing in solo self-found, then it's a lot easier to just buy them for Exalted Orbs from the currency exchange. Then go do 1 10-round trial and get it all over with. Earlier I said you need to beat trials of higher and higher difficulties in order to get all of your Ascendancy points. That's true for the most part, but there is one exception to that rule. Both Balbala's Jin Barya and the Kimmeral inscribed ultimatum are considered difficulty 1 versions of their respective trials, but if you complete both of them, each one will give you a set of 2 Ascendancy points. So you can actually get all of your Ascendancy points by doing 2 difficulty 1 trials, a difficulty 3 trial, and then a difficulty 4 trial if you don't mind completing both the Trial of the Sekhema and the Trial of Chaos on difficulty 1. That said, if you really prefer one type of trial over the other, then you do also have the option of just doing all 4 difficulties of the same trial. It's a little bit complicated, but those are the basics of how the Ascendancy system works in Path of Exile 2. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask them in the comments. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more like it. Lastly, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.